last week, and of course Vince Byron coming back in as your defending gold medal. So it's 8 riders in the lineup out here tonight. They are each going to get 2 runs apiece. It is the best of those 2 runs that count. Judges will be working off of a 100-point scale out here tonight. 5 judges in the booth alongside with our head judge. High and low scores are dropped out of this. The remaining 3 are then averaged together, and we'll see if Vince can walk out here with another gold medal. Will Jamie add another one to the tally and reclaim his spot of dominance there? Or will we see somebody else in that top spot here on the X Games BMX Vert podium tonight here, Kevin?
You know, you always have to watch out for Simon Tabron. You know, Simon, you know, he's been right there on the edge so many times, you know, with the silver medals, and I would love to see Simon put together that perfect run. He really shows what true vert riding is. You know, he comes in cat smooth, and not just on his tricks, but on his big tricks, his 540s, his 540 variations, comes in right at the top of the coping, maintains his height, pumps the ramp just as it should be.
Yeah, you look at what Jamie does. Jamie's got the height, and he's got that smooth style, and going back to what you were talking about with Dave and doing the opposite airs, turning both directions in the ramp, and he really helped champion that movement. And Jamie does that better than anybody out there. He makes it look so smooth and dialed, but Jamie's got some really big banger video game style tricks. Vince also rides like that as well. Vince, we talked about earlier, he brought that 540 flare into the mix. Well, with Simon, he may not have some of those bigger, just fireworks style tricks, but Simon's got the style, and he's got the height, and he does some incredible 540 variations.
And that cannot be taken lightly. 540 variations are a true commitment of a trick.
So here we go. Started off with our first competitor here. He's from Brazil. This is Douglas Oliveira, and this is his first time ever competing in verts. He's not an X Games rookie. We've seen him in BMX Big Air over the last couple of years, but this is his first time ever getting it done on the vert ramp here. His 4th Big Air appearance this weekend, and his first vert appearance. His best finish was 4th in Big Air back in 2014, so he gets to start the party here. So again, 2 runs each, working off a 100-point scale. We have 5 judges, and it's the best run that counts that's hopefully going to get you on the 2016 X Games Austin podium here today, Kevin.
Dougie's starting off with some huge airs, which he is known for. He can blast the ramp, spreading a big no-hander. Yeah, the big bar spin to X up to a nice clean tail whip, landed smooth, maintaining his height.
Well, height's one of the things that we talked about before we came on air.
Oh, giant flare. Cars off the ramp and heads over to the gate.
Into the signage and off the side, but he's putting the hand up right off the bat, saying, all right, all good. And it's the ramp's a bit elevated right there. It's actually elevated off the ground at that point, just to level it off for the flat bottom. So it's a little bit of a step down there as you come off the flat bottom.
He's up on his feet.
Dougie shaking that one off, giving the fans a little wave there. Pull that shirt sleeve back down. That's a scary one. You come flying off that flat bottom. You're moving at a pretty good clip of speed, and then you're dropping down about 4 feet, and you're like, oh, barricade, look out.
I'm really impressed with the progression of Dougie's riding. You know, for a while it was just how high he could go. He really didn't have a lot of tricks, but here he showed you a bunch of tricks. Had a little misfortune here on the flare, carving off the ramp, but we'll see him back out here for his 2nd run.
Yeah, what I was going to mention about the height thing, we talked about, obviously you want to do all of your tricks at height, but it's maintaining that height throughout the flow of the run. So you'll see guys sometimes they start off pretty high and then it kind of tapers off towards the end of the run. One of the keys is maintaining that height throughout the entire run, and height definitely wasn't a problem there on this flare.
You see right here, he pulls out a little too much, causes him to over-rotate, which shoots him off in the wrong direction. But he got out of that okay. He's up on his feet, and we'll see him back out there for his 2nd run.
Throwing the hands up in the air for the fans there, and yeah, well, he's walking back up the ladder, so looks like he'll have some time to shake that one off and get his thoughts back together and be ready for round number 2, hopefully. 8th BMX vert competition here for Zach Warden. Again, we're used to seeing him up on the Big Air ramp, but this guy, no stranger to competition here in vert, and he's actually rededicated to this discipline here this year, Kevin. Been spending a lot of time. He relocated out to the San Diego area and has been riding a lot of vert as well as Big Air.
Oh! Looked like he was going for a flare double whip, pulling out a little too much. Seems he got out of that okay.
He looked like he popped really far off the lip on that.
To see his handlebars turn, get his bike adjusted. Right here, right there, you see him. You can see it. He popped off with his hands. He pulled off the lip pretty hard.
See that right hand fumbling for
He's
his seat
fumbling.
there. Look how far away he is from the lip of the ramp here and gets the last bit of transition. That was a good save there, getting away from that bike and able to slide out of that one virtually unscathed. But he's got some mechanic work to do on that bike right there. As you can see that those handlebars are clearly not where they need to be. Dennis McCoy up on top of the Roland, our next competitor, only athlete to compete in all 22 contested X Games BMX vert contest. And at the very first one, he did a 900. He has that trick in his bag of tricks, Kevin, but he did a 900 at the first X Games, and he loves it when we talk about that.
Yes, he does. And he tends to throw it at every single X Games. So it's always, you always hope that D pulls it. You can tell when he starts setting up for it. So we might be able to see it today. I hope so.
And if you're looking at that graphic at home and you're saying, that's got to be a typo, this guy's not 49 years old. Yes, he is. That's one thing he doesn't like us talking about. But you know what? This guy's been in the game for so long, and with practice and whatnot, he's usually the first guy on the ramp and the last guy off the ramp. That's how much time he puts in.
He just loves being on his bicycle. To this day, he's just like he has a heart of a little kid. You'd never know his age when you hang out with him and spend some time with him. D is just one of the most fun, enjoyable people to be with.
So Dennis just waiting up the top to roll in. Dennis got 3 medals there. Earned one just 2 years ago in 2014 when we had the vert ramp in downtown Austin there on Congress Street. He walked out of here with a medal. It was an all 40s podium that year. It was pretty impressive. So he's no stranger to throwing down what you need to stand on the podium here at BMX Vert.
Blasting a big can straight into a smooth 540. Landed that right at the top of the lip. He's got a good run going with a can flare. Landed so smooth. Right to a can look back.
He's got the combinations back to back, and he's maintaining the height here with the final 10 seconds of this run.
We might see it. There it is.
Can he put it down?
900! He pulls it! Dang, that is an amazing run. I cannot believe that. What a banger to come out with.
He does it at the first one back in 1995, and 22 events later, he's still doing it again in 2016, and that one was very smooth and very dialed, Kevin.
Oh, that was such an amazing run.
That was such a great run for Dennis to start off here.
Check this out. Right here, goes a 540. Watch how smooth he comes in. Catches right at the top of the transition. Watch. Spinning this 9. Head's rotated. Turns around to spot his landing, keeping the bike pulled into him. Right there, spots his landing, puts it down.
And that's such a hard impact on that trick, as you can see the way his head lurches forward there when you get that last bit of the transition. Big Douglas there, nursing that left elbow with an ice bag after going off the ramp in the flat bottom, but he's pretty psyched right there for DMC. Douglas in the lead right now with a 74.33, by the way, as we await the score here for Mr. McCoy. So he will end up with an 84 flat. So Dennis McCoy will sit in the top spot as of right now. But a great first run there for Dennis McCoy. Your thoughts on that first run score there for Dennis?
I gotta say, I think it's a little underscored. He had a good, smooth run. He kept everything smooth. He maybe didn't use the entire ramp. That's the only thing I can see hurting it some. So, we just have to wait and see what the other competitors do.
That was going to be my follow-up question to you. Was do you think because he stayed pretty much in the center of the ramp as opposed to using the outside corners and traversing across the entire width? Coco Zurita coming down the roll here, originally from Santiago, Chile. This guy is a gentleman who can use every last inch of this ramp. He's known for big high airs and his smooth carving style.
Showing you right there the massive no-hander. Straight into, look for a late turn down flare.
A combo move there, and that's opposite direction. We talked about that earlier, going the wrong way there for Coco.
Got a good solid run going. Whoa, they're going for the flare whip. He's safe, slid out of that pretty safely. He'll have another run to come up. Show us what he's got.
Well, he's another one. We talked about Zach Warding being rededicated. Coco is as well. He's now living full-time at Woodward West out there in Tehachapi, California. He's living out there as a trainer, and he's put in a lot of time on the vert ramp, and he says he's probably put in more time on the bike on a vert ramp than he says than most anybody else in the field coming into this event.
you know, Coca, you know, not too long ago took the brakes off his bike and started running his bike brakeless. And that was quite an adjustment, but it's nice to see that he's adapted to that, and you can see just by how high he's blasting.
So he'll sit with a 78 flat here, and that's going to slide him in second. So it's McCoy, Zarita, and Oliveira. Your top three here as we're at the middle point here of round 1 of 2 here. BMX vert final. You got Michael Laren coming your way next, sitting up on top of that roll, and he's working double duty out here in Austin this weekend, competing in vert as well as big air. And Michael kind of got that style that traverses and carves across the ramp, but Michael's got a couple of unique opposite variations in his arsenal of tricks, Kevin.
He does. He has a really unique style. It's, you know, his style like no other. You know, and it's amazing to watch him ride. He's put some good time into the vert ramp. So let's see what he can throw down. Huge look back landing, so smooth. Topside can. You see how he just carved across the ramp?
The massive downside tail whip. That was huge.
Did you see the air that he followed that up with it? Again, maintaining your height is one of the keys that we talked about earlier, and he is doing just that.
Throwing in the toboggan. Blair landed a little low, but he maintained his pump. He pushed hard, got that pump back.
Downside double whip, and he pulls it clean. Give it up for Michael Laren. That was amazing.
Okay, so looking at the scores that we've seen thus far, I would have to think of that 78. That'll slide him ahead of Coco, but do you think that's going to be enough to overtake a Dennis McCoy score of 84?
Such a good, solid run. Right here, check this out. Downside whip. Watch how high this is.
That was very Jamie Bestwick-esque, if I must say.
Look how smooth.
Guys doing downside tail whips that high, other than Jamie.
His back tire came right in on the sticker. Right here we have the downside double tail whip, whipping that bike around 2 times.
Look where he catches that, and you can't ask for a better landing on the pedals.
Michael is a happy guy. That was a fantastic first run.
Okay, so looking at what we saw out of Dennis with an 84 score, comes in 81.66, so it's going to be close. It'll knock on the door, but not enough to overtake Dennis, so that'll slide him into second as of right now. So 3 riders left to go here in round number 1 out of 2 here, BMX vert final. Simon Tabron, we talked about him at the top of the show. This gentleman here, he's all about the smooth style and blasting the big airs. And do not count this guy out. He's got the 900 in his arsenal tricks as well. Look at that stat, 13 X Games BMX medals, some bronzes, some silvers. Most medal tally for any BMX rider without actually netting a gold.
Blasting, see how high he can go. He knows how to pump this vert ramp perfectly. Check this out. Huge invert 540 landing, so cat smooth.
Did you see where that back tire was as he put it down, rotating out of that? It was perfectly on the sticker tape, just under the coping.
Giant alley-oop 540. That means he's kind of drifting backwards. He almost covered 2 panels there. Oh, the 540 body jar. 540 right at the end, sticking his back tire over the lip of the ramp. That is such a risky trick.
So he's another one that's had a very interesting offseason. Just been focusing just on strength, speed, and style in his riding.
Watch this. Huge invert 5. Look where he lands. Right just below the sticker. Here's the alley-oop 540. You see him drifting. He covers almost 2 full panels. Watch where he lands.
Yeah, that's about 10 feet in distance right there with the alley-oop. So you're looking at a 78 flat or better if you're wanting to crack the top 3 right now. That's Coco Zarita sitting in a bronze medal spot as of right now. Simon very excited after that run. But you know what? He's one of the happiest guys you'll ever meet on 2 wheels. He's so excited. And he takes the top spot there, Kevin, with an 86. So now the bubble for a medal is Michael Laren, 81.66. Dennis McCoy in second with an 84. And now Simon with an 86 flat. Keep in mind, though, we still have 2 riders left to go in the run order here. Talking about Jamie Bestwick and Vince Byron yet to go. And then we have another round yet to come, and it's best run that counts out here today. And well, this next gentleman, he's been the most dominant man in this discipline of BMX since we've had it here at the X Games. Jamie Bestwick, he was looking at making it 10 in a row. Last year, he was unseated by Vince Byron, and we mentioned a stat earlier that anytime in years past he's coming into a gold medal performance, he gets unseated. The following year, he goes right back to that top spot. So the question is, Kevin, can he put it together and do it all again here tonight?
If anybody can do it, Jamie can. Nobody can handle the pressure better than Jamie. Start off with a huge invert, coming in so smooth. Big alley-oop downside tail whip. He's got a fantastic run going. Huge invert 540.
It was huge, but it was so slow and so smooth and fluid on the rotation.
Oh, maintaining his height the entire run. He has not gone under 8 feet yet.
Coming up on the final 5 seconds here, what does Jamie Bestwick cap off this first of 2 runs with here?
Oh, the alley-oop 540 tail whip, pulling it clean. That was an amazing vert run.
Has that ever been done before?
Jamie Bestwick is back, ladies and gentlemen.
And he agrees with you there, Kevin Roberts. You see there's a shot of his wife Carrie down there jumping up and down. Super excited about that one. The alley-oop 540 tail whip. You mentioned alley-oop earlier. That means you're drifting the opposite direction that you're actually turning in the middle of the rotation.
Check this out. Alley-oop covering over 2 panels.
Wow.
That was a commitment. Look at this. He's spinning 540 degrees at the same time, whipping the bike around underneath him, catching it clean, pulling it. The alley-oop 540 tail whip. That was so impressive. There's Carrie Bestwick, his wife. So excited.
That first replay angle really gave you an idea. He is back on the top spot for now, but there's one more guy left to ride here, and this is just round 1, everybody. Vince Byron, he ended the win streak for Mr. Bestwick last year, became the 5th person in the history of BMX vert to get a gold medal here at the X Games. And Vince may have something new in the arsenal out here. It's far from over, everybody.
I'll tell you right now, as a competitor, I would not want to ride after that run that Jamie just put down.
All right, look at Vince starting off, taking a page right out of Jamie's book. Look at the height factor here with the first couple walls in.
The massive flare tail whip. Got a solid run going.
Oh, the bar spin tail whip. Bar spin flare. Oh, going for the alley-oop flare.
So he just got a little loose on the landing on that one there and ended up putting the hips into the bars, and that caused him to wash out on the flat bottom, but he had the makings of a very, very solid run.
And that was a new one. The alley-oop flare, it's not something you see everybody doing, especially on vert.
So that'll do it for round number 1. Remember, we've got round number 2 still to go as we take a look at some highlights here from Vince's first outing. Look at that. He was thinking about taking the hands off the bars out of that.
I actually saw him doing it in practice. It was a flare bar spin to late tuck no-hander.
That's one of the new ones we were talking about possibly being in the arsenal. He was thinking about it.
Right here, it comes down. He's got a little too much forward weight. He's fighting to hang on.
That was a really good save. Did you see the way he was looking down? That almost ended up being a head slap. Guys were having trouble with the heat and dehydrated. Jamie looked fine in that contest, and the heat's definitely a factor out here today. We haven't talked about that yet. But here we go into round 2. This is our Brazilian rider, Douglas Oliveira, in for his second and final run.
Blasting huge tabletop right there. Huge no-hander up around the 10-foot mark with a giant tail whip, landing so smooth. Bar spin with a massive flare, landing so smooth, made up for that one he fell on in his first run.
I didn't say kept that one on the ramp this go around and keeps the flow of his run going here. He's sitting down at 7th pre-run with a 74.33. We'll see what the judges think. Again, it's his first time ever competing in vert out here. We usually see him on the big air ramp.
That was a good, solid run.
He's excited to hear say Brazil in the house. And well, Douglas, we're glad to have you on the vert ramp. You'll see him Saturday night in the Real Cost BMX Big Air. Woo!
He is pumped for sure. Just to put down that solid run, to be able to fly out at the end of your time, you're not falling, sliding across the flat bottom of the ramp. That's rewarding right there.
Yeah, after bouncing off the flat bottom and shoulder checking the barricade there, you saw that he had a little bit of swell elbow going. He had the ice bag on the elbow a little bit later on. So that slides him up 2 spots as we get set to bring back in Dennis McCoy. Dennis is looking at a possible medal as of right now. He's sitting in the bronze medal spot with an 84 flat that we saw to him in round number 1. He did the 900. He did a very clean 900. Now, the 540 we saw to him earlier, Kevin, I know, Dennis, do you think he wants to maybe spin the bars in that 540 in this run?
Nobody does it better than Dennis. He can do 540 bar spins in his sleep. You know, he has that trick dialed, and, you know, I know that Dennis wanted to get that first run in, get a good solid score, and I know we're going to see him step it up for this second run. Get that first one out of the way, and like I said earlier, when we looked at the replays, he got a decent landing out of that, rides away from that fairly smooth. That was one of the better looking 900s I've seen D in a little while. And as a rider, that's what you want, that first solid run, and then you ride off that momentum. Oh, right there, the bar spin to late can-can, followed by huge can-can. Oh, save that 540. You saw that back tire drift over the deck, and he sucked it in right at the last second.
Well, on that second wall, he clipped back wheel just a little bit, and that looked like it might have thrown him off on that 540 spin.
D trying to get his speed back. One-handed can-can. Think he's setting up for something?
Yeah, a lot of setup walls here. He's going to spin another 9. And
oh, going down on the 9. Goes for another 900. He's committed. He had a great first run, so you know Dennis is happy with his score. Let's see if it maintains where he's positioned.
Well, it's the best of your 2 runs that count. So that first run score is an 84. That's got him in a bronze medal as of now. Look, again, like that second wall, he just clipped back wheel just a little bit. That looked like it threw off the 540 rotation. And once you start losing your speed in the middle of a vert ramp run, it's really hard to gain it back.
Right here, you see him spinning that 9. He's looking for that landing. He's coming around, you pull those bars in so that front tire doesn't catch the ramp. Just a little too much momentum.
I didn't see that at real-time speed that the right hand came off the grip. Ouch. I didn't see that his hand blew off the grip on that one.
Still a very hard crash right there. The judges are going to give him a 78 for the 80.
Waiting on the score, so he's going to stick with that first run score of an 84 flat there. He's celebrating the 30th anniversary of the year he turned pro for the RO Bikes team in 1986, by the way. 30 years as a pro.
I still have my autographed hat from Dennis from 1986.
We're moving right along to Coco Zarita. Coco sitting down there in 7th right now. He's got some new stuff he's trying to bring to the party here in 2016. And look at the height there on that second wall, Kevin.
So high, that no-hander was about 11 feet. Going that late turn down on that flare. The opposite flare, heading in your opposite direction.
Winding time down here, and that's what he was trying to go opposite that first run when he washed out on that. It was an opposite trick. You could see the frustration there. He wanted that one so bad, as we mentioned in his first run, or at the end of his first run, I should say. Living full-time at Woodward West, spent a lot of time training and riding up there.
And that's what could be challenging, you know, is that pressure. You're coming in, you put all that pressure on yourself. As an athlete, it's hard sometimes to sit up there having that pressure on you.
Well, speaking of sitting up there, this gentleman right here, Jamie Beswick, sitting in the top spot as of right now. Only rider to score in the 90s with a 90.66, and he brought a brand new trick to his run. It was an alley-oop 540 tail whip, and did it at the very end of his run, and what a great-looking alley-oop 5 whip it was.
That was phenomenal. I mean, he covered so much distance. That was total commitment on that trick. To come in with a new trick and to commit like that is unbelievable.
What else is somebody going to be able to do here to try to unseat what we saw out of Jamie?
I know Vince Byron definitely has an arsenal of tricks that can do it, but will today be the day?
Michael Laren back in here. Michael sitting just outside of a podium spot right now. He's sitting in 4th with an 81.66. We'll see if he can clean it up just a little bit and challenge for a medal spot.
Right, the tuck no hand. He's got a really smooth run going, landed really smooth, maintaining his height. Nice little invert there. to a toboggan, keeping every wall busy with a flare. Oh, there it is.
That one looked better.
Double downside whip. That was so smooth.
He did it on a different wall this go around. That last trick there, that was after the buzzer. So that one won't count. We're in round 2 out of 2. It is the best of your 2 runs that count. And again, he's 1 spot out of podium contention with an 81.66. Michael, too, been spending a lot of time riding vert as well as big air out there in Southern California.
Now you notice Michael covered all aspects of the ramp. Check this out. Carving that flare, covering a lot of distance. And right here, goes up. 1, 2, whips that bike around twice, catches those pedals. Look how smooth it came in, just under the sticker. And that's exactly what you need to maintain your run.
Okay, so again, I'm going to ask you to walk that flank. Looking at the numbers here with Dennis at that 84, it's going to be close, 83. He gets an 83, so he will improve his score, but that's not going to be enough to get him into a podium spot. So with 4 riders left to go, and only 2 of them are outside, or actually 3 riders left to go. Zach Ward's not taking a second run, so only 1 rider left outside the top 3 as of right now. Simon and Tabron sitting in a silver medal position.
Here goes Simon. Straight into a 540, lands so smooth. I have never seen that done in a contest run. Huge one-handed invert 5. Straight to an opposite air. Just going that giant alley-oop 540.
He's another one of those guys that makes the opposite airs look so smooth that it's hard to tell what his natural direction is. And I don't know what happened there, but he tapped out of that run.
He landed a little off and lost his momentum, and Simon is just not used to not being that high in the air. So when he goes down and he's down that low, it's hard to maintain your run and do the tricks you want to do when you're used to doing them at such a high height.
That's not going to beat that 86 that we saw him in the first round. So, you know, sometimes when it's not working out, you step out and you say, hey, self-preservation's in the name of the game and live to ride another day.
I'm still amazed by him rolling straight into a 540 and landing that smooth. That was you start your run up with one of the riskiest tricks you could possibly do.
I can't say that I've ever seen that happen before either. Jamie Beswick, your current leader, the top spot with a 90.66. So what do you do here? If you're Jamie, you come in, do you bring more firepower to the game? Do you try to bump that up? Or is he feeling comfortable
Jamie
here?
has such a large arsenal of tricks. You know, it depends on what Jamie's mood is. You know, if he wants to throw some more new things down, he's got it.
Well, based off of what we saw in him in that first run, I'd say that his mood is pretty smooth and groovy right now.
He's smiling from ear to ear for sure.
All right, so he's getting ready to bring it in for another 30 seconds. But, I mean, thus far, he's the only guy to score in the 90s. After him, your defending gold medalist from last year gets the luxury of riding last. But either way, Jamie's looking at a medal. And as we mentioned earlier, the stat, anytime he's won and then been unseated the following year, he's followed it up the next year with a gold medal performance. And he's in the driver's seat to do that here in 2016.
Here we go. Straight into a flare, turn down, landing so smooth. Huge bar spin. Giant downside tail whip.
It's just amazing.
Oh, the flare whip.
How he links these difficult tricks together and how he maintains the height throughout the entire run.
He has such an amazing vert pump. You know, he pumps that ramp. It's just like pumping on a swing set, that same motion. He
Right
just do it again. He does it again in the middle of his run, and he did like a 6-foot air out of it with a front flare. I cannot believe what I'm watching right now. That was unbelievable.
He changed up the spot and he does the new trick, does a front flip flare.
The thing that amazes me is he slides out on a fast plant flare, which he's done 100 times.
That last one that he slid out on, that was a Jamie Beswick original, the opposite foot plant flare, but man,
Holy
an alley-oop 540 tail whip and a front flip flare in the middle of one run.
What happened?
Wow.
I don't know how much time was on the clock left when he slid out.
Cow. I have goosebumps on the inside. That was nuts. Check this out. The alley-oop 540 tail whip. A new one for competition. Look at this. Spots his landing. Puts that front wheel down. Lands a little smoother that time.
This
Right
one will
here,
give you a
look at
better idea of how much distance he traverses across the. That's almost halfway across the rim.
That's almost 3 panels. That's insane.
It's crazy enough that he did it at the end of his run the first time around. We're picking up where we left off for last year in reaction shot.
Man, I'm speechless.
The first time around was impressive at the end of the run. Then he does it kind of in the middle of the run, and then adds a front flip flare to it as well.
Oh, man.
It's going to be a 90, so the first run score is going to be the better of the two. But how about that performance? 2 scores in the 90s. And as we talked about at the top of the show, him coming into this after getting tangled up in a nasty road bike accident in February and being pretty shaken from that. I'd say Jamie's back up to the Jamie that we know.
Now, this is a crucial moment.
It's not over yet, everybody.
I got to say, there's a few times I've been in this position where you're sitting there and the person in front of you has that kind of bang and run, and you have one run to do this. It's a lot of pressure to be under.
Now, remember, he's trying a new trick. We saw him try to add another combo in that bar spin flare that we saw in the slow motion replay. So it is far from over. Vince Byron, the last gentleman to ride, your defending gold medalist. Can he do it here, Kevin?
Let's see what he's got. Coming out bang with a big no-hander. Hangs up a little bit. Oh, the giant flare tailwind. So smooth.
Oh, no! How did that get away from him?
And we have ourselves.
Well, he knows with that fall, he's in the top spot, he's got the medal, but you see how his first reaction, make sure Vince is okay after that fall.
We have ourselves a new gold medalist.
Well, and he keeps the streak alive. Anytime in the past that he's been knocked off the top spot of the podium, he comes back the next year and reclaims that gold, and he's done it again, everybody. We don't need to say anything. He just summed it up for us.
He is one happy guy. So all you 44-year-olds sitting at home, thinking you're done, be inspired by Mr. Jamie Bagus.